Welcome to Algebra 1, Unit 7, Lesson 4.4, Solving Multi-Step Inequalities. Our objective today is I will be able to solve multi-step inequalities with variables on both sides. I'm Mr. Pi. I'm your host today. I work out of Pearson's Algebra 1, copyright 2009. Let's get this algebra party started. Here we have the steps to solve inequalities. Now, you may recognize this if you've read my blog, but if not, this is a piece of art of a steps I had on some paper on my classroom when we were solving equations. And the steps to solve equations are the same as the steps to solving inequalities. The first step is to use the distributive property to clear parentheses. The second step is to combine like terms on each side. This happens on both sides. This isn't something that you do to the left and do to the right. This happens on both sides. Sometimes it only happens on one. Sometimes it doesn't happen at all. These steps 3 and 4, you can actually think of those and do those together. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the coming examples. But these steps 3 and 4, you can actually do those at the same time. Instead of doing two separate steps and making your work longer, you can do that at the same time. And then our last step being the undo multiplication or division. The reason we can do these at the same time, they both involve addition and or subtraction. So let's see how to apply these steps to a couple examples. Example 14. Gathering variables on one side of an equation, we're told to solve this equation. Let's read this equation. 2 times the quantity, 4 times z, minus 3, close a parenthesis, is less than 3z plus 37 minus 25. Remember, this right here, this inequality, that's going to serve as our middle, or the middle of our equation. So if you want, you can use a dashed line just to keep the left and the right straight. You don't have to use that method, but if it helps you keep left and right straight, that's cool. The first step here is to use the distributive property to clear parentheses. So I'm going to put a check mark here because we need to do that. We need to use the distributive property to multiply here. 2 times 4z would give us 8z. 2 times minus 3 gives us minus 6. We would bring down our inequality. On this side, there are no parentheses to distribute, so we'll just bring down the rest of the equation. Some of you might be saying, this isn't the same example that I'm looking at. Be patient. One more step. If you're using a handout to take notes here, you're going to see how this equation is going to look like your equation. And 2 times 3 is not 6. Oh, yes, it is. 2 times 3 is 6. I don't know what I'm talking about. So our next step is to combine like terms on each side. And I'm going to check that off in blue. And by combining like terms, if we look at the left-hand side, 8z, and that's supposed to be a z right there, 8z minus 6, these are not like terms, so we can't do anything with them. On this side, 3z is not like terms with 37 or 25. But 37 and 25, we can subtract them. 37 take away 25 gives us 12. So I bring everything else down. 3z plus 12. On this side, 8z minus 6. In the middle, I bring down the inequality. Now here's where I talk about combining two steps. Here's what we can do two things. Is we can get the variable on one side, or we can eliminate the variable one side and undo the addition or subtraction. Whichever way you take the variable, or whatever side you get the variable on, that's the side you're going to put the constant on. In this case, we have 8z on the left and 3z on the right. So I'm going to subtract 3z from both sides. What that gives me is 5z on the left. These z's cancel. So what I must do is, since the 5z's are on the left, I have to add 6z to both sides. And in doing that, 12 plus 6 is 18. I bring down the inequality, so I am left with 5z is less than 18. Finally, I'm left to do this step right here, which is undo multiplication or division. I have divide each side by 5 because it's 5 times z. So that leaves me with a final answer of 5, not 5, but the 5's cancel out, and it should be z there. Is less than, and I can write this as a mixed number. 5 goes into 18 3 times, and that would be with 3 left over, so that'd be 3 and 3/5, or the decimal number, 3.6. Or you could leave it like that, 18 over 5. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that we solve this equation to be z is less than 3 and 3/5, or 3.6. Example 5t, multi-step inequalities. Here we're going to have the 5 steps, which we really can think of as 4 steps, to solve this inequality. The inequality that we have to solve here in example 5t reads, 5 times the quantity, negative 3, plus d is less than or equal to 3 times the quantity, 3d minus 2, close a parenthesis. So, to do this, the first step is to use the distributive property to clear the parentheses. And remember, when you distribute, you got to do 2 things, and that'd be multiply by 5 twice. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15, plus 5 times d, which is 5d. Bring down that inequality. Remember, that serves as the middle of our inequality. On the right-hand side, we have to eliminate parentheses. 3 times 3d is 9d, and 3 times minus 2 is minus 18. And what we have here is we have no like terms on the left, no like terms on the right. So we don't do this step here. This is a lot of times where kids get step 2 and 3 confused and they make a mistake. They try to add 15 to both sides or the same side twice. They really don't know what's going on here. This gets done to each side individually. Do you have like terms on the left? Oh, no, I don't. Do I have like terms on the right? No, I don't. So scratch it out, move on to step 3. Step 3 and 4 are the steps that can be done at the same time. Eliminate a variable from one side and undo addition or subtraction. We can do those at the same time. Here we have 5d on the left and 9d on the right. Some teachers always teach to get rid of the number on the right, the variable term on the right. I try to keep things positive, so in this case I'm going to go 5d. I'm going to subtract that from both sides. The reason I subtract that is because it's positive. When I do that, the 5d's cancel on the left of the inequality, which is less than or equal to. 9d take away 5d is 4d. Now, I'm moving on to step 4, but it's really done in the same step. Since I got rid of the variable on the left and I got it over to the right, I need to get rid of this minus 18. So I'll add 18 to both sides. Minus 18 plus 18 cancel. When I add 18 to this side, negative 15 plus 18 is 3. Now I have one step to do, undo multiplication or division. I need to divide each side by 4. So I get 3/4 is less than or equal to d. I like to turn that around, so that would be d is less than or equal to 3/4.